Hello everybody, this is Cheri at djsundry.blogspot.com, and today I have a video that's actually not a craft video. It's not even craft related at all, but I recently had a comment on one of my videos on YouTube about this little purple bracelet that I wear all the time. And so I decided I was going to do a video and explain it a little bit. This is not a bracelet that comes off of my arm very much at all since I got it. And what it says is, trust in God for Taylor, Proverbs 3:5-7. And so this is going to just tell you a little bit about why I wear this bracelet, what it means to me, and other information about it. Proverbs 3:5-7 says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what verse 7 says, but I encourage you to look up the book of Proverbs in the Bible and read that that passage. Several years ago, probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago, we met a man and his wife, a wonderful couple, who came within a little bit of time after that to work with the same organization that we work with in planting churches. This couple was a middle-aged couple who had been missionaries in Alaska and Hawaii and had 3 children. Their oldest son was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident, I believe it was, in Hawaii. And tragic to us, tragic for the family, not tragic for Micah because he's with the Lord now. And then they still had their 2 daughters. Their oldest daughter's name was Julie, and their next daughter's name totally escapes my mind, and I'm so sorry. Julie, I believe I may have met once. And then the other daughter I had met a few more times. But they were both young adults, and Julie was married and living in a different state. And not long after we got to know them a little bit better, their other daughter, Angela was her name, got married and moved to be near her sister, where both of their husbands were attending Bible college. So through the years, we've been friends with this couple, and they've had some other rough things happen in their life. Angela and her husband had a son pass away a little over a year and a half ago, very unexpectedly, to something that was probably related to a SIDS type death. And this couple still, and their daughters, Angela and Julie, despite the hard things that they've had, they still continue to love the Lord. Well, Julie, the older daughter, had, I believe it was 4 children and was expecting her 5th child. And at a doctor's appointment for her 4th child, Taylor, they found an abnormality, what appeared to be some type of a growth or a tumor near her spine. And after running all of the tests, they determined that this little 18-month-old had neuroblastoma. Now, if you've not heard of neuroblastoma, or your family or friends have not been touched by neuroblastoma, it's a type of cancer that is seen in children sometimes. It's a very aggressive type of cancer, and the outcome usually is not that good. This is actually the 2nd family that this particular cancer has touched in our realm of friends. The first time was several years ago, and the Lord miraculously helped that little boy where he is now a young man and is cancer free. But the mortality rate for this type of cancer is very high. And so, like any parent would be, of course, Randy and Julie were crushed, and the grandparents that we know were crushed, as were the other family. But they decided, rather than to let it make them bitter, or they would trust the Lord. And that's where these bracelets came from. Taylor has gone through many treatments. In fact, she is currently in the hospital post stem cell transplant and is finally starting to turn the corner and start to do well. And throughout this time, our friends, Chuck and Irene, have left our state and gone to be near their children so that they could help with the other 4 children that Randy and Julie have, including their 5th child, who was born about the time Taylor was starting her chemotherapy treatments, and he was actually premature and ended up being in the NICU for a while. You know, some people may ask, if God is so good and so loving, why does he allow hard things like this to happen? And I'm not going to pretend to know the answers. I don't know all of the answers, but I will tell you, as I know that Chuck and Irene and Randy and Julie and Angela and her family can tell you, that God is good all the time. And they have placed Taylor into his hands. And though, of course, their hope and their prayer is that Taylor will remain with them, they are trusting God for Taylor. And they are trusting God for the outcome of Taylor's life and the outcome of these treatments. And so when you see the bracelet, the reason I wear it all the time is because I'm human, like many of you, and I forget to pray for the people that I need to be praying for. And this is a reminder when I see my bracelet that, first of all, I need to pray for Taylor, and I need to pray for her mommy and daddy and her grandma and grandpa and her other grandma and grandpa and her aunts and uncles and cousins and brothers and sisters. But I'm also reminded that God is good, and whether life or death, he will still be good. Randy and Julie and Chuck and Irene and Randy's parents, whom I don't know, have chosen to let this make them better and let this draw them closer to God, rather than let the circumstances and the hard times make them bitter. And you know, we all have that same choice to make. Are we going to let the hard things in our life make us better and draw us closer to God and let it teach us to trust him more? Or are we going to become bitter and hate God? And so that's my question to you. What are you going through? Do you want to be better and drawn closer to God? Or are you going to end up bitter and angry and miserable? So if you have any questions and you say, well, I don't understand, because why would God allow that? All I can tell you is I know God is good. I've seen how good God is when I've been sad, when I've been hurt, and when I've been happy. When there are things that I don't understand, when I see the harsh things that people do to other people, you know, I can choose to blame God, or I can choose to remember that God is good and he did not plan for people to hurt each other. They chose to hurt each other. So I too am trusting God for Taylor, and that's why I have this bracelet. So thanks for watching today, and remember to take some time to enjoy the little things, and I hope that you'll choose to find God good.